Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the WIA Pod. I'm Verona Frankish and I'm the proud chair of the WIA board. Each week we bring you a refreshing mix of inspiration, education, awareness, honesty and fun from some of the best names and incredible voices from our women in estate agency community. A big thank you to our sponsors, Digital Sparks, for making this podcast possible. If you're enjoying the conversations, then please spread the word, like, share, and subscribe to the channel to make sure that we get our inspiration out to as many people as possible. And we'd also love to hear who else you'd like to see on the hot seat in the future. So let's dive right in. This is the WIA Pod. Today's guest on the pod needs very little introduction. She's often been described as the firecracker of the industry. She's unafraid to share her opinions and she is unapologetically and undeniably authentic. I'm really looking forward to this one. An estate agent since the age of 22, she's built a phenomenal business and a phenomenal brand in the Midlands. And she has also created a personal brand that has allowed her and her business to really stand out from the crowd. Of course, it is the one and only Angi Cooney. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello. Gosh, what an introduction that one was. Okay, so hello.
It's so fab to have you here. And I know you're a fan of video anyway, and you've used that to build your brand. So I know that this will be a natural opportunity for a chat just between the two of us today. So Angi, speaking of C Residential, very recently you have announced the sale of your business to a local competitor. So I think myself and probably a lot of our listeners are interested in why now and what are some of the factors that have influenced your decision to make that choice at this juncture?
Okay. Reached 60 in February.
You look amazing.
Thank you. And literally, my mum died 18 months ago and I've been quite open and transparent on that.
Yeah.
So I'd sat there and thought, now is the time. I needed to make sure, though, that I didn't just sell to anybody. It needed to be somebody that was authentic and true and strong in their own market. And I'd started conversations with various people and in the end met the guys from Webb, Simon and Nick Lamb, and just loved them straight away. I just think that they are phenomenal people. And I really didn't, because obviously, like most things, when you've got competitors, you only know their brand, you don't know the people behind.
Of course. Yeah.
The people behind it. And I met them at the Esters, on the way to the Esters in October, and just fell in love with them. I just really liked them. Met them at various events and just kept meeting up and having a chat. And then as naturally, you then start to talk about, well, what if?
Yeah.
And then the what if led to dinner, and then I sold it. And it was the right time, and I have no regrets. And I did it because I needed to move away. I've got 2 children, 27, 26, baby not babies, but they're my babies. And I just felt I've got 15 years of good health. It sounds very, everyone else
pessimistic.
Goes, oh, no, you haven't.
Yeah.
But you have.
We have to be realistic, right?
Realistic.
Yeah.
So I've got 15 years of having a bit of a good time now.
Yeah.
And that's why I've done it. And I have 0 regrets.
That's amazing. I mean, huge congratulations. Thanks. Because to be able to not only have created genuinely an incredible brand and an incredible business, but to be able to then hand your baby, which I know you referred to it as, over to another business that you feel, another set of individuals that you feel will carry that business on in the same way and under the same values as you have, is quite an unusual thing to be able to do.
It is, but because I'm a wily old bag, really, and I've done this not the first rodeo, I've sold my other businesses and I've had other businesses before, but I knew I needed to make sure, most importantly for me was the team.
Yes.
So before I even did all of that, they came in and talked to the team. And then I asked the team's opinion and they were absolutely on board with it. And I wouldn't have done it, Verona, if they'd have said to me, this isn't right for us.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have lost any team member because it was so important. And
I
I'd
mean,
already
that's
done
special.
it, but I'd done it 6 years before because I've sold my lettings company, and then obviously lettings is a very different animal to
It is.
sell. So to me, it was so important that the team were on board, and touch wood, they're loving it.
So, given that you've been through that journey now a couple of times, and as you know, acquisitions, sales, mergers is really rife in our sector.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to any of our listeners who are considering selling their baby, passing the baby on to the next phase of its growth? What things would you specifically recommend to someone who might be thinking of selling their business?
Do you know, it's quite interesting that you've asked me that, and I'll tell you why, because understandably, people have contacted me about it. And you've got 2 types of business owners. You've got people that will do it just for the money, and therefore I'm the wrong person to ask. No, I am. Because
I know what you
think
mean.
It's not about the money.
It's not about the multiple.
For me, Angi Cooney, it needed to be not the lettings, different thing.
Yeah.
Sales, very different market, very different formula for working it out. I think you've got to trust your gut instinct, which sounds ridiculous, but I think it's true. And that's irrespective of whether you're doing it just for the money or for your staff, for you, everything else.
For continuity of the business.
I created a brand, and it was important to me that I kept my team on the sales side absolutely on board with it. Lettings, different animal, but you've got to consider how the new company are going to look after your landlords. You might not give a toss, but as I've said before, my main thing, everything in my life points north. I've said that on various different podcasts, various different people. I always look at it, whether I'm doing looking at changing suppliers, platforms, anything, point north. And if point north, and that is about what's good for the client. Selling C residential had to point to what's right for my team, and that's how I did it. I don't know whether that answers your question, but that's me rambling. So.
Well, no, it's not you rambling. It's you doing you. And honestly, Angi, that is one of the things that I love most about you. I think you sort of don't care what the right answer is.
Not
it's
really.
the right answer for you, and that's massively important. So given now that you've sold, what does the future look like for you? Are you still involved in the business? Have you stepped away entirely? What does the future look like?
So as of today, I'm obviously, didn't need to stay in anywhere involved with C residential. They've chosen, hopefully they'll still carry on.
Very wisely.
To do their social media and to be their voice if they wanted me to be the voice. I love the brand and I love the industry, and I just think for me to disappear would be silly.
Of course.
So I'm very wide open in what I'm doing. I'm still going to work on the personal brand, and I'm there, and people want to talk to me and about anything. I'm there, and we'll see. I really have I'm going to be very fluid now in what I do. But all I can say is that I love whatever I do, and I'm just having a good time.
That's amazing.
And actually looking after my 89-year-old dad and taking him to his hearing appointments and stuff like that's driving me insane. But all the things that I managed to dodge and let everybody else do, and I'm just being a mom and being a daughter, which is
amazing,
quite nice.
And frankly, you deserve that, because you have it takes its pound of flesh, this business, this industry.
It absolutely does.
So you've earned that time to be give yourself a bit more flexibility, and you've shared with me previously your mum passing away and the importance of your family and your children, and I've met your daughter, who's an actress, and who you're obviously hugely proud of. You talk about family a lot, and family has clearly meant a lot to you and does mean a lot to you. So tell me how you've managed to, all through your career, juggle, because I don't believe in the word balance, juggle your responsibilities of running and creating and building a business, and also doing justice to being a mum and a wife and a daughter. Because it's difficult, right?
I think it is difficult, but I also think that I watched the Danny Nash interview podcast that you did, and she was on about, I would never have been able to be a stay-at-home mom. Absolutely, that's me. My mum once said to me, I can't believe you're having a baby, you need a stone pig in the garden, because I was completely and utterly focused on work,
committed.
And that never stopped. Even when I had the children, never stopped. And I think that you've got to be going back to being authentically you. There's no point trying to put me in the role of being a mummy. I was never that good at it. I've done the very best I can, and I think anybody, if I'm going to give advice to anybody out there, you've got to do you. Because it doesn't matter if you stayed at home for 5 years, if you went back to work as I did after so many days, there's no right answer.
No.
And you'll always have the mum guilt. So it's irrespective of whichever path you choose, just know that you'll get through it in the end, and then you'll come out the other side. And hopefully, if you've done a good enough job, that you'll like them and they'll like you. So that's it.
It's a really interesting point, because I think we have to be able to look ourselves in the mirror and feel like we've lived our lives true to ourselves.
You're absolutely right.
And if you're trying to do what either society or your family or anybody else feels is the right way to live life, you're actually lying to yourself.
Yeah.
And that's not where integrity is. And therefore the only way to be happy, truly fulfilled and happy, is acknowledging what is inside you.
Because I think you're a better mum if you are authentic and show them the way that it doesn't work for everybody. This works for me.
Yeah.
I've no idea how I juggled it, but I did it because actually you haven't got a choice.
Yeah.
Because when you set a business up, you set a roller coaster in motion that you cannot get off. So you've got to give it your all. You give it your all in all sides of your life, and I think I really have done that. So am I a good daughter? I like to think so. Am I a good mom? Who knows? But you know what? They still talk to me. And
it's a bonus.
They still talk to me. That's a bonus. And my clients, and that's it. So I think that there's no right, wrong. Just do what you think's right for you.
So, Angie, those values, integrity and authenticity, they literally run through your blood. And anybody who's ever met you can see that. Yeah. And I've no doubt that that's been one of the main reasons that you've built such a brilliant business in C Residential. I'm sure you've got examples or experiences where you can say they've either really helped you to grow your business, or in some cases, they've maybe hindered you or been challenging to live by those values whilst you've been growing your business. Can you talk to any examples of where those values have been so important to you in your business that you couldn't ignore them, either positively or negatively?
I think that there's only one way I can answer that, because I think I've got the gist of what you've asked me. Everything that I've done, I have to truly believe in my stomach, all through my core, that it's the right thing, it's integrity. And I think that, I can give you some examples. So there's people that may or may not watch this, because they are still within the industry, that have worked for me, with me, that have challenged me on that, because I've decided to do the right thing for the client as opposed to the right thing for them, which has caused me to lose a few friendships along the way.
Right.
But I wouldn't change that. I think that's probably the right... the positives. My life's a whole big positive bubble. So I don't really tend to... I accept the negatives, because that's what happens. I have lost friends, colleagues along the way, because I wouldn't change the right thing to do.
Any regrets on that?
No, not one. Because I think I don't live my life with regrets.
Yeah.
I don't purposely set out to piss people off, but I'm sure that I do. And everybody, and it doesn't matter, I can sit here and say to you, looking you in the eye and going, absolutely, I am, don't have regrets, and I don't, but I do think, could I have done that differently? But the fact is, you can't change what you've done.
You can only work with the information you have in that given moment and do the best that you can with that information at that time. And as long as that's where where your starting point is, then you can't go far
I can
wrong.
look in the mirror and think, have I done a bad deed? I don't do bad deeds. I don't ever set out, as I've just said a second ago, to piss people off or to upset them or anything else, because everybody likes to be liked. Everybody does. Yeah. And as long as I do the very best in whichever circumstance, I make that choice and don't regret the choice. But if I see those people, friends, ex-colleagues, I'd like to think that I can say hello and give them a hug and check they're okay. If they choose not to do that back, then it's a shame, but they're never meant to be in my world anyway.
Yeah. And, I think today this industry is a very different industry than maybe it was
Oh,
10
it
years ago.
absolutely is. Yeah.
Well, you know, you've been around this industry, and you won't mind me saying this, for a fair few
Oh, yeah.
years. What are the big changes that you've seen over that time, Angie?
Social media, obviously. That to me is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Collaboration with people. When I decided to put my head above a parapet and come out of Staffordshire and enter, God, they'll think I'm the Esther's poster girl here. When I did that,
Yeah.
and I've done that for 20, I did it since its inception. But once I started to enter the guild, join the guild, and then thought, good Lord, God, there's another world. There's another world outside of Staffordshire. That's what I really grabbed it by the balls and thought, flipping heck, the collaboration, the willingness and the kindness of people.
Yeah.
Because, you know, everybody, you've got competitors in your market town, and you'll know this more than anything because you obviously have what you run, but you realise that everybody that goes into a estate agency are really nice people.
Hugely.
They're not pissy people.
Yeah,
Everybody
absolutely.
is exactly like me.
Well, it's a
I
people
think.
industry, right?
Yeah.
We're dealing with people all the time. And I say this regularly, property is a people business. And yes, technology is important, AI is going to be increasingly important, but at the core of it, human connection is what really drives this industry.
And I think that I've made some fantastic friends, connections, whatever you want to call it, out of this industry now. And I felt fulfilled with going and opening my world up, completely fulfilled. And I just feel as though my cup is overfloweth because of all the great people. I'm not just saying it, people like you and Liana and Claire, they're incredible. And they're like-minded people. And I think you are what you attract what you are.
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
There you go. It's
Yeah.
the tribe, sorry, that's the word.
Totally.
And I think that you, even more so now, and it's changed because you realise it isn't just about your competitor down the road, who you can, understandably, really want to whip their ass, of course you can.
Yeah.
But actually, if they were to just open up their door, they realise that they're nice people.
Yeah. And, you know, competition in any market exists.
Yes,
it's healthy.
of
It's
course.
good for the consumer.
It is, yeah.
And I guess that's one of the things that I definitely have seen this evolve over the years.
Yeah.
I think we've still got a way to go. There is still competition in the sector, absolutely necessary. And I think to some extent, there's less competition bashing now than there has been.
Yeah.
But I still think that's an issue and an area that we could still improve on.
I think that the issue arises when you are hyper-local, and then what happens is you get your stupid agents going in and bashing you, and I just think it's so unprofessional.
Yeah.
But you'll never change that. There'll
Yeah.
always be Billy Wide Boy, won't there?
Yeah, yeah, with
So
the
you-
overvaluing and all the
It
tools
doesn't matter.
that we know.
You can't
Yeah.
really change that.
Yeah.
That's just always going to be there. But I think the biggest thing for me, social media, absolutely. AI, absolutely. That we're only just scratching the surface.
And have you started to test AI and see residential?
Yeah, I
Yes?
love it. Chat GPT. I am that donkey who does Chat GPT. I love it.
We all do.
But it's great, isn't it?
Yeah, amazing. It
I mean,
saves so much time.
I've set up the new my new little company, and I even created an email footer last night, lying in bed, and said, "Well, I want it to look like this. Please do it." And it just created it.
Amazing.
Wham, and off
Yeah.
I go, without me even thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's an aid. It's an aid. It doesn't run my business. It's just an aid.
And, you know, I get asked all the time, is AI going to replace people? And I guess in time, it'll replace processes.
Correct.
And in my opinion, it'll mean that we won't have to replace some of the people who do manual processes in our businesses today to help us to scale and be more efficient and be
Yeah.
better. But I don't believe it'll ever replace the human connection I talk about and the people and the heart of this industry.
I think it depends on where you sit, because I know that there are platforms out there that believe that it is all about a process, and that you can press a button, and everybody likes to receive emails, and everybody likes to receive texts, or however way. They all don't want to talk to anybody. They want to do everything themselves. Not in my world.
Yeah.
So maybe my world's old-fashioned, but actually that's what makes me me. So I think that AI has its place. Has its place. That's all I'll say, without saying any more.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that, and you know, the adage that AI won't replace people, but people who use AI really well, great prompts,
Yep.
great usage, will replace the people
Correct.
who don't use AI.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that it is incredible. But I mean, I've got a funny little, somebody did an AI of me. It was on one of these, I don't know whether it was PM1 or whatever. Anyway, I went somewhere and went to a conference and somebody did sit down in front of the camera and just be you. So I did. And then they created an AI version of Angi Cooney. And I only knew it wasn't me because it said bath instead of bath, and they hadn't got my idiosyncrasies, and I thought that was amazing.
It's so clever.
And I am sure that at some point they'll do it. Then I'll have to add the swear words in, and then they'll really know that it's me.
Proper authentic.
No, it's interesting.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
interesting.
I think it's interesting, scary, and exciting in equal measure.
I agree.
You mentioned conference. And I think in the number of years that you've been in the industry, you must have been to a fair number of
I actually
conferences.
stopped going, to be honest. I definitely, I've been a member of Property Mark for years, but I stopped going because it was all a bit crap and a bit boring, and they all became very sameish. And I thought, Christ, I'm not... So I stepped off that scene because I think if I'm going to go to a conference, I want to go to nice ones.
Yeah.
And I want to go to ones where I come away and go, bloody hell, amazing. So now I only go to ones that make me think, bloody hell, amazing.
So which ones do you go to now? Tell me.
Maybe an agency. That was amazing. Of course it was.
So what made that different? Because obviously a lot of our audience will have been to the conference, but a lot will not. So
I also think if they haven't, people need to do it. And I'm not just doing a plug for you, because there's not one that I've gone to and thought, that was crap. The one last year, to me, the one that's just obviously...
In March this year.
Yeah. God, is it really March
Yeah,
this
I
year?
know, right.
Seems ages. Ages, but not really. That was so fitting to do that after Sarah.
Yes.
Just amazing. Yeah, what makes it different? Well, they'll need to go and join. They'll need to go to see for themselves.
It's quite difficult to describe, isn't it?
You get that spine-tingly moment and the tears that come out of nowhere and stuff like that.
Yeah,
yeah, no,
it's
very
pretty
good.
special. Yeah, pretty special.
And the others, I don't want to be sold. I understand that you need to do all of, to get supplies
the sponsorship, yeah.
and I understand that. But I think there's ways to do it. And I think that everybody, whether you're Property Mark, Women in Agency, Simon Wales,
Kerfuffle.
That I really enjoyed that and didn't think I would. I really loved that one.
It was a good
and
day.
the Guild, a great one as well. So yeah, they're all beginning to realise that they are tailoring to specific people.
Yeah.
Probably the same people they all now offer something different.
Yeah.
So
That's
now
great.
I've started to go again.
And that shows evolution, right? It shows evolution of them responding to the needs of the sector and understanding that, to your point, you can't just sell at people all day long because it's...
I don't want to go
We're not
along to
stupid.
people like that. I want to go and mingle with people, see people I like.
Yeah.
But if it's too big, too much, you get turned off by it and you lose your audience.
Yeah, absolutely. So we touched on women in estate agency. So one of the reasons that you're here, Angie, is because I know you're a huge advocate of what the movement is all about.
Yeah.
The authenticity we've touched on. But tell me what the group, the Facebook group, the movement, the work that we're doing in Women in Estate Agency, what does that mean to you personally?
Collaboration is one, okay? I think that the movement, and I hate calling it a movement because I feel as though I'm burning my bra somewhere. It's opening up a collaboration between people, whether you're a man or a woman.
Yeah.
Collaboration, communication is hugely important to me. And literally, the Women in Estate Agency group now is putting you in touch with people that you think, is that me? Can I see me in that person? And I think that when people watch, whether they go to podcasts, whether they go to the Women in Agency conference, whether they go on the 29-kilometre walk, you are inspiring other people and being inspired by the group of people that, whether they be men or women.
Absolutely.
Because Women in Agency, I understand what, you and I have talked about this before, about why it needed to be called that. I do understand it.
Yeah.
But I also think now your challenge and the challenge of everybody involved with it is involving everybody, irrespective of the gender. So I think collaboration, communication and inspiration.
Love that. And from a communication and an inspiration perspective,
Yeah.
there is so many women in our group, and part of the reason that we've created this podcast, so many women, there's 4,500 women in the Facebook group now, which is just phenomenal, and growing all the time. There are so many women in that group that inspire just by getting up, dealing with their children, going into the office and getting through the day, because they've got challenges in their own world, in their own life, health challenges, geographical challenges, whatever that is. And I don't believe you have to be a big name or in a very senior position to be inspirational. And part of the reason we did this is because we want to bring those people and put a spotlight on their lives and their struggles and their challenges. So you're absolutely right. Inspiration comes at different levels for different people.
Yeah.
And of course, representation is also hugely important. And I think that's why you're such an inspiration to so many people, because you've proved to so many of the younger generation and across the industry that you can be a strong woman, run your own business, be true to yourself, not lose track of who you are as an individual, and really be successful by doing you.
Yeah.
If you were starting out now in the industry, and a lot of our industry is evolving also.
Yeah.
There's a lot of younger women now who are either considering self-employment or considering setting up on their own. What advice would you give to younger women now coming into the industry or in the industry?
I think start to go to events, start to read, start to look, start to watch podcasts, start to follow people, and you will find your tribe, to use your words. You'll find somebody that you just click with. You won't know what it is, you won't have a clue what it is, but unless you start to know what you do like and who you want to aspire to be and follow, you'll never be able to make a success of it unless you start to pin your mast to something. And I think start with your mast, pin your flag, pin your whatever.
Yeah.
Put your pair of shoes underneath them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
However way you want to say
Stands for something.
You start with that. And I mean, I used to say that I started with a logo, a brand, and I started with that, and then it all evolved. Because unless you've got that in your mind, everything, you've got to start with something.
Yeah.
So I think start to look, start to follow people that inspire you, speak to people that inspire you, because chances are all of these people that you held aloft, I definitely found this with you, with Liana, with Claire, everybody. And you get to meet and you think, God, I really
Just
like
normal.
them. What normal people. I really like them. It's like going to see somebody, when you definitely watch social media, I mean, you might find this. You go to places and people go, oh, you're Angi Cooney, hello. And you think, yep, I am. But actually, people are just normal people.
Yeah, of course.
Start to follow them, start to look, and you'll get inspiration, and then all of a sudden your life will just flourish.
Yeah. Absolutely. And, you know, it's a really good point, because what you're saying is whenever you were younger, you kept yourself in your local area.
Yeah.
You didn't open yourself up. And it can be quite intimidating to step into a world outside of the world that you know. And that's why Women in a State Agency is so important, because you can have people with you to do that and who can resonate with that.
Do you know what I love about the Facebook posts and things? When you think, oh, I know that. Can I ask you a question of whatever it might be?
Yes.
Personal. And you think, oh, and you always read them, don't you? You read them. And I don't just glance, I'll read it. I thought, oh, have I got anything to add to that?
Yes.
Well, actually, I might add my little bit in or private message them after. But it's so important.
Yeah.
And then it is a community, isn't it?
Totally. It genuinely is.
It
which
really
is fabulous.
is a community.
Yeah. One of the things about your business that I have been meaning to ask you for a long time and I haven't done, which is, so you do this say yes to the address, which is obviously a spin on say yes to the dress. So how did you come up with that?
I didn't come up with it.
So who came up with that, and how long have you been doing that?
Right, okay. So there's a lady called Samantha Webb from Scotland.
Yes, I know Samantha Webb.
Right.
Yes.
So I won't say how I met her, because I
Okay.
don't know whether I'm supposed to, but I met her anyway. And I went, oh my God. I said, you don't need me. You don't need me to help you. My God. And then I said, can I have a look at that behind you? She's got it.
Okay.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
And I always think you can't reinvent a wheel. If there's a good thing, just grab it.
R&D,
grab it, own it.
rip off and duplicate.
And
R&D.
you own it, and just, I need to tell you, I'm going to use that.
Yeah.
And because I'm such a gobby mare, and because of what I do, and I'm very visual, I'm very into everything marketing, love marketing,
Yeah,
as you can probably tell. Everything has to look right. So I thought, so I've got a fantastic company called Estate Signs who are local to me. Estate, they do all my marketing and all my visual stuff. And I've got an office and they created that for me and it's everywhere and I blooming love it. And so
Amazing.
people used to come in and I've got a sofa because I've got an old pub that is at our building.
Yeah.
And people used to come in and I'd grab anybody and go, sit there, have a photo. And that's what we do. And then now
Brilliant.
people come in, collect keys, got boxes, home move boxes. And
Love it.
We said yes to the address. And then all of a sudden
It's
just
become a
gets
thing.
traction.
Yeah.
It's become a thing and I love
Amazing.
it.
Yeah. No, it's great. I've been meaning to
That's
ask you that for years.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So would you believe our time is up already? I know
Already?
it goes so quickly. I knew it would be a very easy conversation. So my final question, which I'm hoping you're expecting, is we touched there's hundreds of people that could sit in that chair.
Yeah.
So if you could choose one or two people that you would like to see in that chair,
This
who
is
would you
going to be a
choose?
random one for you
Okay.
because you'll go, oh.
Well, I'm
Right.
feeling the pressure now.
No pressure, but I'll tell you who I think you need to get on.
Okay.
Simon Whale, but not Whaley.
Okay, the actual true Simon Whale,
real-
not the kerfuffle version.
No,
Yeah.
I lay in bed last night thinking, you're going to ask me this question. And I think you need to get Simon Whale, the person.
That's a good call, and I understand why you say that.
Yeah.
He's a very intelligent man, and he
Extremely.
covers it with this caricature version of Whaley.
Which, to be fair,
Okay.
when you're there, for me personally, I'm 60 years of age. I don't like that person.
Yeah,
And I've been very honest
you
with
like
him
the true person.
and told him
yeah,
this.
absolutely.
But when you get him on his
Yeah,
own,
yeah.
oh my gosh.
Really
he
good
is
value.
Really, really good value.
So Simon Whale, we are coming for you, not Whaley, Simon Whale. Angie, it has been an absolute
No,
pleasure.
thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I genuinely wish you a happy, fulfilled and satisfied next phase of your life, whatever
you.
that looks like.
Thank you very much.
And that's it for this week's episode of the pod. Thank you for joining us. If you're enjoying the conversations, please share, tell your friends and like and subscribe. Bye.